Lewis Hamilton topped Friday practice in Baku, stunning the entire paddock, and giving Ferrari fans hope that their championship dreams were finally within reach. But what happened on Sunday wasn't just another disappointing result. It was a systematic betrayal by Ferrari's own machinery that left Hamilton powerless to fight. How did a car that looked capable of victory on Friday become a rolling roadblock by Sunday? Why are Ferrari's technical failures becoming a pattern that's destroying Hamilton's championship hopes? And most importantly, what does this reveal about the toxic tension now boiling over inside Maranello? The promise was there from the moment Hamilton set that blistering Friday lap. The 7-time champion guided the SF25 through Baku's castle section with an elegance that reminded everyone of his prime Mercedes years. The Tifosi dared to believe their new hero could deliver something special, perhaps even challenge Max Verstappen and McLaren for victory. Ferrari looked sharp, with Hamilton's slightly higher downforce setup proving the perfect compromise through Baku's technical middle sector. The data suggested they had found the balance, and Hamilton himself admitted he finally felt in sync with the SF25. But the moment those lights went out on Sunday, everything unraveled in the most brutal way possible. Hamilton knew something was wrong immediately. The SF25 simply wouldn't give him the power he needed on the straights, with the hybrid system refusing to deliver the extra punch that makes all the difference in Azerbaijan. Each time he exited the final corner, instead of surging forward, the car felt flat, forcing him to watch helplessly as rivals sailed past. For a driver who built his career on bravery, overtakes, and ruthless speed, being reduced to a passenger in the slipstream was torture. The evidence that emerged after the race was damning. Ferrari's hybrid system was malfunctioning, failing to recover and deploy the necessary kilowatts on the straights. In Baku, of all places, this was fatal. The main straight stretches for 2 kilometers, the longest on the calendar. Every time Hamilton planted his foot out of turn 16, instead of a surge of power, there was hollow emptiness, as though he was driving a car handicapped against his rivals. Ferrari were missing multiple kilowatts of energy deployment, enough to make overtaking virtually impossible and defending utterly futile. To a casual observer, a handful of kilowatts might sound insignificant, but in Formula One, it's the difference between pulling alongside your rival and being left behind. Hamilton experienced this lap after lap, as DRS-enabled rivals slingshot past him, leaving him punching the steering wheel in frustration. In the technical middle sector, Hamilton was inch-perfect, clawing back time with skill and precision that proved he had the pace to fight at the front. He described the car as feeling good through the corners, capable of sticking to the track and giving him the control he craved. But all of that effort was undone the moment he hit the straights, where he became defenseless, a passenger in a race that should have been his redemption. The fury captured on team radio told the story of a driver who knew he had done everything right, who knew he had the pace to fight, but who was robbed of the chance by a system failure that left him powerless. For a 7-time champion whose entire career has been defined by fearless overtakes and relentless defense, the sensation of helplessness was unbearable. Fred Vasseur's comments after the race were telling. He admitted that Ferrari had been missing energy recovery on the straights, effectively conceding that their hybrid system wasn't delivering the power needed to compete. He spoke of the frustration of a weekend where the pace was clearly in the car, but the execution fell apart. His anger was plain. Ferrari had come to Baku believing a win was possible. Instead, they left with 8th and 9th, the very definition of underachievement. What made matters worse was the internal chaos that unfolded during the race itself. Charles Leclerc was instructed to let Hamilton through in pursuit of Lando Norris, with the promise that the position would later be returned. But when the checkered flag fell, Leclerc had never regained that spot, and the agreement lay broken. It was yet another example of Ferrari creating unnecessary drama between their drivers, failing to execute clear strategies and sowing seeds of distrust within the team. Hamilton ended the race ahead, but both drivers were furious, united in their disappointment, yet divided by the mishandling of the swap. For the Tifosi, who had watched Ferrari throw away countless results through mismanagement, it was a painful reminder that nothing has truly changed. This wasn't brilliance from their rivals that doomed Ferrari. It was their own fragility, their own inability to provide their drivers with the tools to compete. The revelation of the hybrid fault turned the result from disappointment into disaster because it showed Ferrari were capable, but betrayed by their own machinery. For Hamilton, it was yet another weekend where the story wasn't about what he lacked, but about what Ferrari failed to give him. The Tifosi's despair was palpable. They had dared to hope again after the pace of Friday, daring to believe Hamilton could give them the podium they craved. Instead, they watched as both cars trailed home behind Mercedes, behind Red Bull, behind even a resurgent Williams. The contrast with the promise of earlier sessions couldn't have been starker. And yet, even in his fury, Hamilton's fire burned brightly. He spoke afterwards about how good the car had felt before the issue struck, about how convinced he remains that when Ferrari solved these problems, they can fight anyone on the grid. His anger isn't the anger of a man ready to give up. It's the anger of a champion who knows what's possible and refuses to accept mediocrity. He believes he can win with Ferrari. He believes he can bring glory back to Maranello, but he also knows that every wasted weekend makes the dream harder to achieve. His fury is a demand for change, a demand for higher standards, and a reminder that he came to Ferrari to make history, not excuses. The tension inside Ferrari has now reached boiling point. Hamilton knows he has the speed, knows he has the form to fight at the front. Yet once again, he was left without the tools to do it. For a champion chasing history, these failures cut deep. And for Ferrari, the pressure only grows heavier with every missed opportunity. The evidence of the hybrid issue makes clear why Hamilton was so furious, and why the internal atmosphere at Maranello is becoming toxic. The world is watching, the Tifosi are restless, and Hamilton is demanding answers. Baku wasn't just another defeat. It was a moment that exposed Ferrari's flaws in the most brutal way possible. Until those flaws are fixed, Hamilton will not stop pushing, will not stop demanding, and will not stop believing that redemption is still possible, even if the road to it has become far more treacherous. But the question remains: how many more weekends like Baku can Ferrari afford before their championship dreams slip away entirely?